everybody, and welcome to my channel. Today's video is going to be about how I do my fine art post-processing with tips and tricks using Lightroom and Photoshop. The image I'll be using today will be a 4-shot panorama that I took in pin mill about 2 or 3 weeks ago of the shipwrecks, and it'll make a nice pleasing fine art image with the idea that it'll make it sellable at the end of the day. So without further ado, let's get cracked on and let's get straight into Lightroom and then we'll go for it. Right, so this is my Lightroom setup in front of me. This is obviously the all the images I took on the day at pin mill. I've got to say, pin mill was just an amazing location. It was well worth a trip. If you check my video from about 2 or 3 videos ago, you'll actually see it there. But oh, what a place. I had all the perfect conditions. I was really lucky. I may have had a little bit more softer water, but it was a good day in general. But anyway, back to this. So you can see here at the moment, this is me shooting early on, as you can see by the way that the water is really low at the moment there. So we're going to come out of that. I actually shot about 95 images on the day. I was really getting carried away then. But let's go to the latter half. So we've moved on. The water's a little bit higher now, a little bit higher up. So here we go. We've got one. So this is going to be the shot I'm going to do. You can see how much the water's gone up there. The green mark's gone there now because it's underwater. That boat that you could see before, that was on the left, that's obviously underwater now. So there you go. So that's the first one. There's the second, third and fourth. And what we're going to do now is we're going to stitch them all together. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So click onto that and click onto that. And then we then go to photo, into photo merge, into panorama, and then click onto that. It's going to start generating a preview, which is doing now, so it's going across. And then obviously you've got 3 different views that you can check it out on first. So it's coming in fairly fast. There it is. So that's my first one, which is perspective. So it's got to go on that way there. Let's have a look at cylindrical, which is not too more, a bit more fisheye and a bit more spherical. I think cylindrical's round, spherical's fisheye, isn't it? There you go. So I've got either that. Let's take a warp boundary up to about 3/4. And it's either that one, or that one. I think I'm going to go with the first one. There you go. I'm going to go with spherical. So that's it. Merge. So that's going to get on, do us a little bit there. You can see up on the top left hand corner, it's now creating the panorama. It's not hanging around. So normally I'd just stop the video and carry on, but because of the speed of this, it's coming through pretty fast. So in fact, I will stop. As soon as it's finished, I'll put you back in again. Just finishing now. And here it is here. This is where it says panorama 2 there. You can see it there. So I'm going to click onto that. And that is the giveaway. The DNG on the end of it there is the giveaway to show that it's a panorama. And there we go. So what I'm going to do first, I'm actually going to just crop it straight away. So I'm going to click onto the arcade. And I'm going to find my crop, and my output for this picture is going to be 16:9 because it's going to the YouTube, it's going to you guys, so that'll be my output. I could do a long panorama if I was going to do it for that, but in this case I'm actually going to do it to where it's going to, which is going to be yourselves. So I'm going to fill the frame with this picture, so I'm going to bring it down to here. I'm going to work on the rule of thirds. I'll do the horizontals first. I'm going to click on the angle button here, the spirit level, click that onto there, and then move that over onto the other side on the horizontal there, horizon. That's it, there you go. And that's now lined up the horizon. So it wasn't a million miles away because obviously when we take the pictures, we've done the horizon on the camera already. So we're going to bring that down to there, put my horizon right on the horizon, my rule of thirds onto the horizon there. And that's lovely there. So the boat's sitting in there nicely. I've got a rule of thirds there. And I think that's not a million miles away. That's pretty good to go actually. I quite like that. And I'm going to go with that. Done. So that's my first composition laid up and ready to go now. So what we're going to do now, we're going to go in and we're going to go some cleaning up. We're going to get rid of all the little bits that we don't really want in the picture. So obviously we're going to move in close. So first thing I'm going to use is going to be the remove tool. So I'm going to click onto that. It's got generated AI and detected objects. I tend to turn them off because they slow the system down. So I'm going to go in close. I'm going to find a few little bits that I want to get rid of. So let's just try a boat quickly. So it's going to go to the left and right of the boat and up. There we go. Let's have a look at that and see what that's looking like there. It's been a bit slow with me today. Let's Done a good job on that straight away. So I'm moving across, so let's move it down. I want to get rid of this bit here, so where the blue bit is there is going to be my bit there, going to come across up to there, over there, coming back down there. I'm going faster than the machine can cope with at the moment, so I must be a little bit low on memory on this program, so, but never mind, that will do just nicely there. Let's have a look at that. And I'm going to return that, and it's done it already, so that's pretty good. That's done already, that's pretty good. Let's just do this little dinky bit here. I'm not sure if this one will hold this one, because what you might get here is it'll pick up on the top bit, which it has done. So I'll do that one later on in a clone. So there's little tools for everything at the end of the day. So that's that bit done. I'm curious to see how it'll cope with the boat. So let's take the boat into there. I'm actually going to go into the other boat, bring it up there, bring it back down. Fill the screen, and then see how it copes with that. And it didn't like it at all, but because it was next to the boat, it's made this smudge mark. So we'll go Apple Z on that one, so we'll leave that alone. I'll do that again later on with another tool. Okay, and I'm not going to touch that one either. Now I've got an issue here where I'd like to try and get rid of this bit back here, but it's going to prove a bit tricky, so I won't be doing it in this tool. I'll try. What I'm going to do here, I'm just going to go into there, and I'm going to see if I can remove that bit there and this bit here. Let's have a look at that there. So I'm going to see if I can remove that, and I don't think it'll do it. No, it's horrible, absolutely horrible. But I'm going to show you a little tip and trick how to do that one later on. I'm going to do it in Photoshop in layers. So Apple Z that. So I think that's pretty much it. I've done a couple. I've showed where it works well, and I've showed where it doesn't work well. It should work well here. If I go to this bit and I just come onto here, click onto there, go across. That should work well there. That should be okay. And it is. Got a little bit on the end. And then this bit here should work okay, because there's nothing that is going to catch. It's not going to catch anything else. So it's nice and clean around it. That should work again. And then obviously there's a little bit to be done there. Get rid of the boat. The boat should come out fairly easy, which it does. Let's get rid of this bit here quickly. And we're going to get rid of that bit there. So I think the rest of it, I'm just going to show you this bit here between the boats. Now, I wouldn't not even tackle this one, but I'm just curious to see if it'll handle it. So let's come into here. I'm going to come across there. Going to come all the way up. Come back down. It's going to catch the edge of the boards, so I don't think it'll be able to do it, but we'll have a look. No, and it doesn't. It smudges them in there, but again, I'll show you a tip and trick in a minute. So Apple Z that one, we'll leave that alone. Right, I think I've done as much as I need to do in this picture so far. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to come out of Lightroom, and I'm going to take it over into Photoshop. So basically Command and E will then send me to Photoshop basically. And that's now working on Photoshop. You can see the spinning wheel there, so it should pop up in a second. Today will be nicely. There it is. So we're now into Photoshop. Right, so let's have a quick look at this now in Photoshop. So in Photoshop, the same tool I was using for remove in Lightroom, we have Camera Raw. I use Camera Raw, which is pretty much the same engine as Lightroom. And then I'm going to use the, where's it gone here? I think it's the remove tool in Lightroom as well, yeah, remove tool in Lightroom. But it seems to work a bit better in Lightroom for some reason, but I don't know why, but sorry, in Photoshop. So a bit smudgy around here, so I'm just going to go a little bit there. It's going to move this across here, come down, go across there, and I think that'll do. Let's see if I make a cleaner job of that. Oh yes, beautiful. That's lovely. That's done. So sometimes I just prefer to go on with Photoshop and do it. Let's do the little boys. Zoom in a bit closer. Okay, look at Stately Home in the background, amazing. And again, and I'm going to move it across, and again, and again. It doesn't take long. And again, and you can see where the old boat tried it, but that doesn't matter because that's going to come out later on anyway. So, all right, that's just done there, I think. Okay, I'm not sure how this one will cope with it. We'll give it a go. I don't think it'll work on this one either, but as I say, I'm about to do a little tip and trick to show you not to worry about that. Let's have a look. Yeah, it doesn't like it at all. Doesn't like it at all. That's fine. That's absolutely fine. Okay, and then we'll get rid of that boat there. It might be okay with this boat. It may be okay with this boat. If it just hangs in there, we'll have a look and we'll see what it does. Got a feeling it may not be, but we'll see. This is where all the fun comes into it. Now, and again, it's created something I think it should have been there. So it's obviously picked up a little bit from the boat and then thought that it should be onto there. But that's not a problem. Right, okay, so what we're going to do now, right, so the camera raw's done a few little bits around here. I will come back into camera raw and just finish this bit off. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go into select and I'm going to go down to subject. And I'm hoping that the subject will pick up all three boats and then just the boats only. It's pretty good at that. It's a big old file. I think what I may do is make the file a bit smaller, but it's actually done an absolutely stonking job of that. I'm really impressed with that. And it's picked up all of those really, really well. I'm going to press Command J, which is the same as copy and paste. And then you can see on the right hand side, that's the actual selection that I've just made and copied and pasted into here. And look at that, absolutely amazing. Even down to the wires of that ship there, absolutely amazing. It's picked up there. Years ago, I'd have been at that for ages and ages. Absolutely amazing. Love it. That saved me so much time. It's unbelievable. Right. So, let's now bring us back into where we are here. So because I've now picked up the boats, what I'm going to do craftily now is I'm going to use my old-fashioned tool. So I'm not going to go into all of this nice new AI technology and all that. I'm just going to use the old classic clone stamp. And I'm going to come across here. So I'll do the boats first with the clone stamp there. So I'm going to lock it onto there, bring that to there, and my clone stamp can go there nicely. The boats won't show at all. Oh, Apple Z, again I'm on the wrong layer. Now I'm on the right layer, so try again. Oh, what am I like? What I'm going to do as well, before I go any further, I'm going to make this image a little bit smaller. It doesn't need to be 170 megabytes, it's massive. So image size, I'm going to bring it down to about 4,000 pixels. 1, 2, 3, which is just about the right resolution for this video. Makes it a bit smaller. You can't really see much difference, it's still just as sharp, still there, but it'll make things work a little bit faster now. Right, so first thing first, clone tool. Let's make this the right size. Now bearing in mind that I have made these boats on top of this, it means that I can clone on the original picture underneath and then you won't see me merging into it. So I'll show you exactly what I mean. So when I click onto here like that, I'm going to lock onto there. And then I'm going to come into this area here and you can see it's like magic, isn't it? Look at that. Look at that. Now just to show that it's not magic, because if I click off the image above, you can see where I've smudged into it. But there you go. So that's one way of doing that. The boat behind again, I'm going to do exactly the same again with that one. So I'm going to do the same. Line it up there, just remove that boat. Look at that. Amazing. And then what I'm going to do here, I want to go around the side of this boat and lose all of this area. Obviously, I couldn't clone into the boats, but I can because I've copied it. So I'm going to copy this bit of sea here, or sea or river, estuary. I'm going to click onto there, put that onto there, and I'm going to come across here where it would sit. Let me have a look at the line. I'm looking at the line is about there, I think. Pick that line. There's the line there. I'm going to click onto there and look at that. Look at that. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. And that will do nicely. That'll do really, really nicely there. That's brilliant. That's enough to separate that off. I'm going to have a look down here, which is what I said I would do when I was doing the remove tool. It didn't work very well. So this didn't work particularly well. So I'm going to just come in and do this little bit here. So again, magic clone tool there. Here we go. That's lovely. That goes to there. And again, same thing again. I mean, I can do it a little bit at a time, but for you guys, I'm just doing it the fast way. Okay, that's lovely. And again, that's lovely there again. Spot on. So let's come over to this side. And then we've got the boat. And once again, I'm going to pick an area, which is I'm going to use this bit of the foreshore. If I can, I'll use the other side. I'm going to pick this bit of foreshore here. Click on there. And then I'm going to put that, see where probably about there I think the foreshore will be, and then look at that, magic. So I like magic. There you go. and that boat's now gone. I've got a little bit of cast on there, so I'm just going to bring that back into there. There you go, look at that. Spot on. There you go. And that's the two boats missing in the middle. And I think that is us pretty much cleaned up there now. Now I could use the clone tool again. Just clone tool, isn't it? Yeah, I could use the clone tool again and then take all of this out. But I'm actually going to go back into Camera Raw and I'll take the boat out now. So I'm going to use the remove tool because it does a good job. But it's just basically knowing its limitations at the end of the day. So what it'll do here, if I come down to this area, it might pick up bits down here, you see, to select into there. So if I do like that there, and then let's have a look at that. And there you go. It's not too bad. Let's have another go. Because obviously it's picking up the things from below. Let's try a little bit there like that. That's better. And then the final bit will be to here. A little bit there. And I think that's us done. There you go. Look at that. Absolutely amazing. So, coming back. Gonna go okay. Got my boats back in there again. That's lovely. So that's everything sorted out there now. That's looking good to go. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to flatten everything now for now. Flatten the image. I'm going to go into Camera Raw and I want to pick up the detail in here in the boat, so I'm going to go into shadow detail. So this is the thing I could do in Lightroom as well, but I'm just going to do it in Camera Raw. So what I'm doing, I'm looking for, let's start from the top, which is what we normally do. So basically exposure. So what I tend to do first is I'll use the whites and the blacks, and I press down the option key and it makes it go black, and then I push it up until the whites show. Then I bring it back and come back a little bit further from there. So I take my whites to there. I'm going to bring my blacks to there, and then that's my whole total curve right across the area there. I'm going to bring my shadow detail right up for the boats. I'm going to bring a little bit of highlight back, put a little bit of contrast in it, and then I'm going to just move my exposure around a little bit there. That's good to go. Right, that's great. I'm now going to bring my graduated linear gradient there. I'm going to bring that down. And then just going to darken in the sky a little bit. That's it, not too much, just a little bit there. And I'm going to do the same again, create another gradient at the bottom, another linear gradient at the bottom there. I'm going to do the same again at the bottom. Just going to bring that up there towards the boats. Okay, and then bring that back a little bit. And then once again, just darken that down slightly as well. So that's pretty good to go. Okay, done. So what we're going to do now, I'm going to save that. So file, save as, with Horizon, with Horizon. Save that as a JPEG to the desktop. And there you go. That's looking good. Right, what we're going to do now, we're going to lose the horizon. So, right, thanks very much for staying with us this long, guys. Much appreciated. We're just about to go into doing the horizon removal. If you'd like to like and subscribe, that'd be much appreciated. It would certainly help the channel out. So let's get cracked on with the removal of the horizon. So the first things we're going to be doing now is going to be selecting the subjects, which is the boats, and then it's going to do a nice little job on that, hopefully, and select them, which it has done. Perfect. Command J, or Apple J for the Mac people. I'm going to remove the background, and you can see there it's done a really nice job there. It's going to right down to there, even down to the wires perfectly. Lovely, lovely job. Nice selection job there. Really, really nice. So I'm going to move on to the next selection, which is going to be select the sky. Make sure I'm on the actual background layer first. There we go. And then we're going to move over onto the select sky. And it selects sky. And that's pretty fast. And then same again, Command J. And then what we're going to do this time, I'm going to leave the boats there so I know where to do my selection from. Okay. Let's hide the boats. You can see that there's a mast on there. I don't really want that on there. I'm going to use this clone tool and I'm going to remove the masts. So I'm going to click into there. That's it. just do a quick job on that one there. That's lovely. One from the other side, and that'll do nicely. So that's what I used to do in the old days, but we're going to do a bit of AI now. So what I want to do is going to get the rectangle marquee tool. Let's turn the bolts on to see how far I need to come down. So I'm probably going to go from about here to just below the bolts there. So that's what I'm after, probably about that. Okay, turn the bolts off and then look at the sky. I'm now going to go to edit and edit. There it is, content aware fill. And then it's picked all these little green areas, which is going to be using for the clouds. Let it do its thing. Not sure about that one. That's a bit of a funny one. But saying that, I'll be removing half of that anyway, so that'll be fine. So let's go for deselect there. Make sure everything else is okay. That's lovely. Okay, so what we're going to do now is going to bring in the boats. That's where the boats are. Bring the background layer. On the two layers now, which are the sky. So you've got the top part of the sky and then the bottom part of the sky. So what I'm going to do is going to join these two together and merge layers. That's the sky layer as one layer, and then I'm going to put a mask on that, and then I'm going to use the gradient tool to push back into where the horizon is. So that's lovely. I think that's about as much as I need to go on that for the depth of it. I'm now going to pick the middle and then push it up so I can see the horizon there coming through. So what I'm going to do is going to bring the horizon down till it disappears. There, that's perfect. That's looking absolutely brilliant there. Love that. Okay, I'm going to add to this mask and put the brush, use the brush tool. So I'm going to go across to the brush tool, click onto that. Going to go in close up, and then we're going to get into those boats, and then we're going to get rid of the sky that was being blended. Remove that out of the way. Just take that away so that it leaves the existing shadows as they were. It looks really good. Okay, moving across, and then we're onto this one here, which is nice. Coming into this way, that's lovely again. Just the job. Doing a really nice job there. Okay, and that bit there done. We're going to move over to the boats. This one's a bit lower, so it won't be as aggressive. So it's only going to be just a little bit of sky that's been put into there. That's lovely, and that's spot on. So I just noticed that this bit here is being covered by the sky. So all I'm going to do is pick the original layer from the start, get my selection tool here, which is my quick selection tool, pick up this little bit again. That's lovely. Copy and paste that from the background layer, push that above the sky. And there you go, that's popped through straight away. And that's it. I think I might leave them in actually, they don't look too bad there. That's looking good there now. And that's pretty much it. So that's ready to be finalized. So let's flatten that. Flat that there, that's lovely. And now that is going to be saved as, file, save as, no horizon this time. No horizon. There we go. Save that to the desktop. It's lovely. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, guys, I'm going to do my black and white from there. And in Photoshop, it's I don't really have to do much these days now. It's all spot on. So in Photoshop, you've got these lovely adjustment tools now. So if you just hover over, for instance, the matte black there, you can see on the screen there. Or you can go over to the strong, which is what I like. I like the punchy black and white. Or you can move over to neutral, or the cool, or the cinematic, more like a sepia for me, but never mind. So I'm going to use the strong. So I'm going to flatten that there straight away because I'm happy with the color, happy with everything on that one there. Okay, and then again, I just want to do the boats only. I want to just lift up the shadow detail in the boats without affecting anything else. So I'm just going to do a quick subject selection. And the both should pop in there. I'm going to do the same thing as I normally do. I'll just copy and paste on top of it. All I'm going to do then is go into camera raw, and I'm going to use the shadow detail in camera raw just on the boat. So literally I'm just going to put it into there, and you can see just picking up the shadows from there. Now this might be a little bit too light, but all I'll do is just rub that off gently in a minute. So I'm going to go okay. So I'm happy with these boats here. This might be a little bit light here, so I'm going to get my rubber tool and then rub at a percentage, probably about 30-40%. I'm just going to gently rub over that and then make that a little bit darker on the bottom of there. because all I'm doing is basically lightening off so the original layer comes through the bottom. So there you go. Looks wonderful there. Everything else is spot on. Happy with that. Let's flatten that. File, save as. No horizon, black and white. And then save that to the desktop. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do my little half color. So again, I'm going to go to the background. I'm going to lift up the previous picture, which was in color. There it is. Select all. Click on there. Click on the picture. Select all. Copy. And then paste that onto there. And then again, I'm going to copy the background layer, Apple J, put that above the color layer. The color layer, I want to use the color of the boats. So what I'm going to do, I want everything else in black and white, but I just want the boats with a little bit of color put into the boats. So to speed things up again, I'm going to do select subject again. So it's selecting the subject on the color layer only. So I should hopefully have all those three boats. Press Apple J. If I turn the black and white off, you'll see why. There it is. So all we're going to do now is going to push the color above the black and white, and you can see it's there, it's nice and vibrant. So what I could do now is let's have a look at that. Yep. So I'm going to turn the color one down a little bit, down to about 35, 36. So it's just enough color to make it a bit creative. We'll go for 40. I like that. That's lovely. So underneath there is a black and white layer, and there's another color layer under there. So what I want to do is rub away the black and white layer and let the color layer shine through a little bit. So I'm going to go to the black and white layer there. I'm going to rub away a little bit of that, but I'm only going to use a little bit of rubbing on that. So I'm going to go for about 20, 30 there. Going to come in close. And then gently go over there like that. That's enough. Gently go over there like that. So what I'm doing is basically rubbing off an existing 100%, but I'm only really taking a little bit off. So it's just leaving a hint of color which matches the color of the boat in front of it. So that is absolutely spot on. I love that. The only thing that's catching my eye now is that I don't like the way that this mast is coming out. So I'm going to lose that. So I'm going to flatten this down a little bit. There we go. I'm going to use my clone tool. Opacity, I'm going to take it down. I won't take it all out, but I'll just take it out gently. So I'm going to come down to here, and there you go. Just move a little bit more on that, and then a little bit more from here, just a little bit more. There you go. And I think that will do just about right there. Quite like that. That's looking good. I'm looking around generally everywhere. I'm finding that this is a bit bright in the middle, so I could do with a little bit more detail there. So I think what we'll do is going to go to camera raw. Let's use a radial gradient in the middle, and then hopefully I can get a bit of detail back into the center of the picture there. Let's bring a bit of highlights down. That's brought it in straight away, the highlights. A little bit lower, that's nice. Obviously it's made it slightly darker. Let's lift up the shadow detail in that area. There you go. Both are spot on again. And that is not a million miles away. Let's bring that back out. Quite like that. That's looking pretty good to me. Yeah, I like that. Go okay. And I think that is me done there. So that's my half color done now. So I'm going to flatten that layer. I think I've already flattened it already, haven't I? So that's it. So file, save as, black and white. I've torn to the desktop. And that, I believe, is that. So I think that's me done. What do you think of that? It looks absolutely wonderful, that, doesn't it? Love that shot there. It's really, really nice. Great picture. I think I'll show you the previous pictures. Let's bring them in there. So we've got the black and white. We've got the original. And then we should have a color as well. The horizon. So let's bring that one down. That one down, that one down. Okay, and that one down. And that's our black and white there. That's the horizon in the picture. That's no horizon. So I think that's us done, guys. I think there you go. That's a selection of different styles of images. But the fine art image, I absolutely love at the end of it. So that's us, guys. If you like what you see, please feel free to like and subscribe. That'd be much appreciated, and we'll catch you on the next one.